I'm Kevin Lacey, the commissioner of the Elite Hockey Experience. This is the NHL Draft, but this is also the EHE Draft Lottery.
Yes, Las Vegas is full of grandeur and triumph and everything you can imagine. And I bring it to you tonight here at the Draft Lottery from my hotel room with a very boring wall and a nice painting in behind. But it is 6 o'clock on June 29th. You would think that this is like a true airing on television. Unfortunately, for me it's live. For those of you watching tomorrow, most likely on June 30th, sorry, but it's not even Sunday. Today is Saturday. Boy, what a long weekend I've had in Las Vegas. But it has been a lot of fun. And tonight, you will find out, we will all find out who will draft first and second overall in this year's draft, thanks to this lottery that we're going to compose this evening. So I hope you have all had a great weekend. I've had a wonderful time in Las Vegas, and I cannot wait to invite you to the Sphere for the EHE Draft coming up in a couple of months. So let me pull up my document and we will begin the proceeding tonight. Hope you, as I said, have had a wonderful weekend. This evening, we are conducting 2 draws using a weighted lottery system to determine the order of selection for the first 16 picks in the first round of the 2024 EHE Entry Draft. It's one of those things. It's the entry draft. I swear I haven't been drinking, at least in the last 2 hours or so. Participants in today's drawing are the teams that did not qualify for the 2024 EHE Stanley Cup playoffs, or the teams that have acquired first round drafting position of those non-playoff teams. There is a limit on the number of selections. A team participating in the draft lottery can move up in the event it wins one of the lottery draws. Of course, that is 10. Thus, only the top 11 seeded teams are eligible to receive the first overall selection in the 2024 EHE Entry Draft. And only the top 11 remaining after the first draw will be eligible to receive the second overall pick. The remaining lottery teams that do not win a draw or are not locked into a position as a result of a draw will be assigned first round draft positions based on the inverse order of their regular season point totals in 2023-2024. I talked about drinking a moment ago. Let's get out the drinks again every time I say the word inverse in this introduction. There are 2 transactions that everyone should also be aware of. The Chicago Blackhawks hold the rights to the New York Islanders' first round pick in addition to their own first round pick in the 2024 EHE Entry Draft. The Anaheim Ducks also hold the rights to the Florida Panthers' first round pick in addition to their own first round pick in the 2024 EHE Entry Draft. I meant to grab something, so let me go tell you about our brand new sponsor that we are having this year. The first time the EHE has ever had a sponsor. So, of course, you guys all know that we've been looking for ways of funding the league and helping keep things going. Site fees will be coming up here in the fall once again, and we are proud to welcome Pillow as an official partner of the Elite Hockey Experience and is presenting the draft lottery here tonight. You know, we tried to get Zillow, but they were turned off when Macklin Celebrini didn't even know what Zillow was. But, I mean, give the kid a break. He barely turned 18 earlier this month. I mean, he's not even going to be able to afford his own home in the Bay Area for at least his 3rd or 4th contract in the league. So, you know, instead, we've got Pillow. Pillow, what you cry into every time you watch the Sharks play. Am I talking about the real NHL Sharks or the EHE Sharks? Either way, it's Pillow. All right, so let's get back to the real thing here. The random number generator that I'm about to show you, because it's on the iPad that I am using as my teleprompter, That random number generator that you are aware of from all the other draft lotteries will select 2 numbers ranging from 1 through 1,000, and all numbers were assigned to each team at random by random.org. And these same number assignments will be used for each of the 2 draws tonight. The odds for the first draw and the percentage of numbers assigned to each team are listed on your screen at this moment. The list of the random number lookup chart was posted at the end of the regular season on the Elite Hockey Sim forum. I still need to put that on the website, which probably by the time you see this video, it will be there. All right, I will also run a couple of tests in a moment, but please be reminded that the draft lottery determines the order of selection for the first round only. For all subsequent rounds, the order reverts to the original order established by inverse order of regular season standings and Stanley Cup playoff results, which are currently ongoing. Once we run the 2 test draws here, from that point on, I'll get to it in a moment, the first number drawn is assigned to one of the top 11 seeded teams, if it is. I've messed that up every time. I really need to fix my script in that capacity. The club assigned to the first draw will secure the right to the first overall selection in the 2024 EHE Entry Draft. If the winning club in the first draw is not among the top 11 teams, its first round draft position will move up the maximum 10 spots, and the first overall selection in the 2024 draft will go to the San Jose Sharks. Proud users of Pillow. Both of these draft positions in this specific scenario will become locked in. Did I jump? Yes, both of these draft positions in this specific scenario will become locked in and will not be subject to change as a result of the second draw. All remaining teams whose draft position has not been determined and locked by virtue of the first draw will be reseeded for purposes of the second draw. The winning number and all numbers assigned to the winning club in the first draw will be designated as redraw numbers in the second draw. All numbers assigned to the other 15 clubs, including the San Jose Sharks. I think I didn't update my document on here. Anyway, let's see, I've got 2 years. Anyway, you don't care. This is long enough. The other 15 clubs will remain eligible for selection in the second draw. In the event that the Sharks have already secured the first overall draft position as a result of the first draw, because the winning club was not among the top 11 seeds, and the Sharks then win the second draw, the final draft order for the first round will be based on the reseeded draft order established from the first draw. I always give an example on this. I think this might be the only part of the document I saved when I updated. If the Golden Knights were to win the first draw as the 13th seed, they cannot move up more than 10 spots. And that means here in Las Vegas, they will hold the 3rd overall pick, and that pick is locked in. By virtue of the Golden Knights winning that draw, San Jose also wins the 1st overall pick because the Knights could not overtake their spot. Thus, it is possible that the second draw can actually result higher than the winner of the first draw. So if the Sharks, whose numbers are still in play at that point, win the second draw, there are no further changes made to the draft order. Basically, they play spoiler for any other teams trying to move up in the second draw. It's a total game of blackjack, baby. All right, so I know there are no questions, and I stumbled through that sober somehow. So you can debate whether the somehow was that I'm sober or whether I was able to get through it. Okay, so this random number generator that you all know, it's very big to see now that I've moved it to an iPad. I want to make sure that the volume is up. So, and I have not actually, we can change that speed here. Hopefully that's not too slow. This is a test run to show that it is working, so.
101.
101, okay, she sounds drunk, so let's move the speed back up here. But 101 is a test run, as is 442. I'm going to do one more test run, just 895. So you can see we got a wide range here. So now I'm going to clear these results, and as of this moment, the next draw will secure the right to the first overall selection in the 2024 EHE Draft. Here we go.
863.
863. So there you go. You see that now here. We will go to our random number lookup chart here, and I apologize as I pull that up here. Had it a moment ago. Here we go. So 863. And okay. All right, so that one is done, and now we will do the second draw. So 863 has been taken.
2.
Adam! Well, anything's possible. Out of 1,000 picks, we have 2. So I am now going to, well, hey, I mean, we've had a team move up from 16 to 6 before. And so, I mean, wow. Okay. So who had assigned pick number 2? Okay. So we do, unlike the real draft this year, we don't have to do redraw after redraw after redraw. These picks are locked in. So I'm going to now put the list of the odds back up on your screen right now. And in a moment, we will commence with displaying who drew number 1 and number 2. Apologies for a moment, I'm having a technical malfunction. This was tested before I left for Vegas, so I'm a little annoyed.
While I get this sorted out, here are some photos from my trip.
All right, so we've got our 16 team draft order here set here for the 2024 EHE Draft Lottery. So let's begin at pick number 16. We've already seen 16 win before with the Columbus Blue Jackets back in 2022. Can it happen? Only a 0.5% chance, but can it happen? It has. No, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Whoa! The Anaheim Ducks, they're looking a little mightier these days. Right, there it was. That was a Freudian slip. But anyway, this is the Florida Panthers pick. Florida Panthers finished 13th best in the league. However, had that tough time in the Lemieux Conference, and thus they held the 16th best odds. However, that pick was traded earlier this season when the Panthers acquired Nikolai Ehlers. Thus, this is the Anaheim Ducks pick at 16. Moving on to the 15th overall selection in this year's draft. This pick belongs to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oddly enough, the Columbus Blue Jackets now pick 15th for the 3rd time in the last 6 years. They also had a chance to pick 16th one of those 6 years, but that was the year, of course, they won the lottery, moved up to 6. So Columbus finding themselves in familiar territory. They got really hot at the end of the season and almost made a playoff spot, almost beat me out for a playoff spot at the end. But Columbus is at 15. Now the 14th overall selection in this year's draft. will belong to... It belongs to the Chicago Blackhawks, and this is the New York Islanders pick. They traded to, actually, I believe it was Florida. No, that doesn't sound right. Is it? Someone had Darcy Kemper and traded him to the New York Islanders, and then that pick was flipped over to the Chicago Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks are picking at 14th using the Islanders pick. Now moving on to 13. The 13th pick in this year's draft belongs to the Vegas Golden Knights. No, you did not win on the slot machine tonight here, Doug. You're not here in Las Vegas to roll the slot machine, so you will be picking 13th. The 12th overall selection in this year's draft belongs to the Nashville Predators. So Nashville does not win the draft lottery this year. This is actually only the second time, maybe the third time actually, that Nashville's been in this lottery. Of course, they won the original inaugural draft lottery and then won the very first 2015 EHE Draft Lottery. They made the playoffs 5 straight years, but found themselves not rebuilding, but they did rebuild their team in a way. Even Sidney Crosby, the first ever player picked in the Elite Hockey Experience, was traded to the rival Dallas Stars. So Nashville is at 12. Now, here at 11, that's going to continue with that rebuild, so to speak. Now at 11, the 11th overall selection goes to the, I nearly said Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, so I nearly got the Anaheim Ducks. So it's going to take me a bit looking at that logo. It's a sweet logo. I love the color change. So I love that they kept the same colors, but went back to the old logo. So the Anaheim Ducks are at 11. Now the 10th overall selection in this year's draft. This belongs to the Washington Capitals. So last year, the Washington Capitals had to forfeit to the 12th overall pick. And this year they actually move up a couple of spots, move down a couple spots in the standings, but move up a couple of spots. And they will be drafting 10th. And this pick is solidified unless it's traded between now and the draft. The 9th overall selection in this year's draft belongs to the Los Angeles Kings. So, the Los Angeles Kings had the 8th best odds of winning the draft lottery, and they are selecting 9th, and that means that the Detroit Red Wings have won one of the 2 draft lotteries here this evening. We will find out which one later on, but Detroit moves up, and Los Angeles, the Kings, with their new logo, fall back 1 spot. Am I the only person who hates this logo, by the way? Seriously, am I? Because I've seen you guys in the Discord chat. Seems like you love it. I cannot stand this one. So, unfortunately for Todd, this is the team that was only the second time that the Kings have ever been in a draft lottery, and it moved back 1 spot. Now, moving on to the 8th overall pick in this year's draft. Who will be the snowman? It's going to be a place that has a lot of snow. It's the Hockey Utah Club. The Hockey Utah Club will be picking 8th. They don't have a name yet, but yes, the Utah Hockey Club and their sweet color scheme will be bringing a very, very generic black jersey to the EHE draft. But they pick 8th. Now moving on to lucky number 7 here in Las Vegas. The 7th overall pick. Will the luck hit 7 right here? Nope. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning, also falling 1 spot here. The Tampa Bay Lightning, I actually have no notes here, but they had the 6th best odds, and they fall to lucky 7, so to speak. So the 6th overall pick in this year's draft. It worked for 9. Can you flip it upside down? We'll find out for 6. Here we go. It's the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton also falls one spot. They have actually missed the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. So hopefully Gilbert will be able to get the Oilers back up and running here with this 6th overall selection. So now moving on into the top 5. The 5th overall selection in this year's draft belongs to the Ottawa Senators. So the Ottawa Senators again pick at 5th. They picked at 5th last year. They had 3 top 8 picks. One of them was 5th. They're back to 5th again, falling one spot. Now the number 4 overall selection in this year's draft, and the 4th overall pick goes to the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks won last year's EHE Draft Lottery. Won Connor Bedard. Gonna use this 4th pick to add a pivotal piece to them. So we'll see what Adam does with 4th overall. Into the top 3. So far, only one team has moved up. But will we see a second team move up? Or will this be another time where a team moves back one spot? We'll find out here at 3. It's the San Jose Sharks. So the San Jose Sharks, who had the best odds of winning a draft lottery tonight, they are the only team not called the Montreal Canadiens to have fewer than 20 wins in any EHE season. They only had 18, and they didn't win here. And I had a whole thing all planned for if the Sharks won a draft lottery, and they didn't. The San Jose Sharks, I'm sorry, Jared, you will be picking 3rd. You will still get a great pick. After pick number 1, it's pretty volatile. So, depending on what you fancy, you might be extremely happy with your 3rd pick because you might get the 2nd best player in the draft. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Maybe you get who is the best player in the draft. But San Jose falls to 3. So it took a little bit to find out, but we do have 2 winners. One of them's Montreal, clearly, because Montreal had the 2nd best odds, and they're still in the top 2. So they're not falling in any event, but did they move up? The number 2 overall selection in this year's draft belongs to the Montreal Canadiens. So the Sharks fell 2 spots. Montreal stayed where they were going to be at the 2nd overall selection, and that means that the 1st overall pick in the 2024 EHE draft belongs to the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings, who were clearly in a playoff spot, unarguably in a playoff spot after halfway through the season. Like, well in a playoff spot in the Lemieux Conference, in the Atlantic Division. But the Detroit Red Wings lost game after game after game in the second half, especially after the trade deadline, and it put them with the 9th best odds at 5%, and that was enough. The Detroit Red Wings have won the 2024 EHE Draft Lottery. I don't know if you caught it earlier. You can rewind and watch it. But when I drew number 863, I looked at everything, looked at the number chart, started to write it down, and tried not to do it, but I did a little bit of a double take and I realized it. Wow. Cisco Valle, you've won, sir. You have won the opportunity to become forever sponsored by Pillow. Not Zillow, but Pillow. So, wow. That was not what, that was shocking. But hey, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So, but who's coming to Vegas and who's leaving Vegas with Macklin Celebrini? It appears it's going to be the Detroit Red Wings. Will there be a trade to announce? Will we get the big boom on the screen? We're gonna find out in a couple of months. So thanks for watching here this evening. I'm gonna go hit the strip one last time before I fly home tomorrow. And then I can put this video up for you that you are now watching, but for me it's live. Thanks again for a great season. I think the Sim's probably happening right around now, so I hope I'm winning. Anyway, thanks again. Take care. We'll see you soon.